I'm about as subtle as a death growl in an echo chamber. Hit it!
Welcome backstage. I'm Damian Deadlove. Tonight we'll be talking about the band Blondie. I got into them when I was a teenager, but I also remembered hearing them on the radio a lot when I was a child. Then I was a closet fan for many years. You see, I was a metalhead in high school, which pretty much meant you get heckled to death for listening to anything else. I sure don't miss the mini cliques that happened in high school. Blondie was formed in 1974 by singer Debbie Harry and guitarist Chris Stein. They dated and were even married at one time. They were mostly an underground band until about 1978, when they released their third album, Parallel Lines, in that same year, with songs like Hanging on the Telephone and One Way or Another leading the strand of singles. But the biggest song off that album was Heart of Glass. I'm sure you've heard it before. Unless you're really young, then it's possible you haven't. Anyways, the song is kind of the beginning of the new wave movement. The first two albums had a lot more punk vibe to them. If you've heard the song, you'll realize it was a poppy disco-flavored tune, mainly because disco was huge at the time. But what if I told you that's not the way the band wrote it originally? You heard me right. I don't pull any punches when it comes to the facts. A recording actually exists. I think it was even played on their Behind the Music, if I'm not mistaken, for contrast to show how the song ended up sounding. Showed my age a little bit with that tidbit. It was actually a lot slower tempo-wise, and it had a reggae feel. Debbie and Chris wrote the song, and because of their diverse musical backgrounds, they chose a reggae feel. The record company took one listen and kiboshed the whole idea. Debbie and Chris fought for the song, but it needed an overhaul according to the execs. In fact, to paraphrase, the company's thoughts on the subject kind of sounded like this. White teenagers don't know what the fuck reggae is. End quote. Hence we got the version we know. I'm not complaining, it's a good song. Just goes to show that record companies are not above stifling an artist. What's funny is that 2 years later in 1980 on the album Auto American, they recorded a song called Rapture that had a rap section in the coda. And it went on to be a big hit as well. But it seems the record company didn't attempt to stop its release. Another fun fact for you, since the first episode was about band names, Blondie had an interesting story about their name. Debbie Harry came up with the name after dyeing her hair blonde and walking past some truck drivers who catcalled her, "Blondie, hey Blondie." She liked the sound of it for a band name, before the band was called Angel and the Snake. So, it's up to you. What do you think? Is it an improvement, or would you have stayed with the original? Anyways, that's our show for tonight. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember, music is the soundtrack of our lives. Peace, love, and linen. I'm Damian Deadlove.